Hey guys, it's Miss Tiffany here. I have a story time for you. I just finished up with a student and I want to just tell this story really quick before I have to go. I'm going to make it quick. So this story is about the time I was scammed. Basically, I was scammed into doing choreography for free. Now, I wrestled back and forth with if I was going to say the company name, but I think I will. But let me preface this video before we get started with everything. Let me preface this video by saying I was young, okay? I was young. I was just starting out. I was just starting Miss Tiffany's dance. I cannot remember the year. I'm pretty sure it was like 2000 and maybe 2008. I was working at the mall at the Galleria. I was working at Delia's. It's not there anymore, I don't think. And I was teaching at like 3 studios. And I was ready to get Miss Tiffany's dance going. I really wanted to choreograph. And I want to say now it was like I was almost eager is the word, but it was a little bit of desperate energy in there with that eagerness, which we'll talk about that later. So eager is good, desperate is not. Okay. So anywho, I'm working at the mall at the Galleria. Remember, that's important. I get an email from John Robert Powers. Yes, John Robert Powers. It is a modeling school. They used to have them all over the country, and I actually went there when I was little. I went there and I attended the school, and I have the glamour shots and all that stuff still to this day. So when they contacted me, I was automatically like, oh, this is great. John Robert Powers. I went there as a kid. They're trustworthy. Stick with me. So anywho, they contacted me. They were looking for someone to choreograph 3 minutes worth of choreography for a young man who attended the school and was going to go to one of they have a big competition at the end of the year where I guess they compete for like modeling contracts or something, or I guess talent contracts, because it was like a dance thing he was going to be doing. So the dance portion of his presentation, they wanted me to choreograph a dance for him. It's a 3 minute piece. Lies. It was 2 1.5 minute pieces, but 3 minutes total. So I'm like, yes, great. I'll do it. Yes, please. I'm, like I said, I'm eager. I want to get my name out there. And I thought this would be a really big opportunity, maybe some kind of deal with the school to do all their choreography. I was thinking I was seeing my name in lights. so yeah. Fast forward, they say, can you come? And can you come next week? And I'm kind of like, that's kind of quick to get this choreography together, but I can do it. So I do it. I go and I show up. And first thing, I walk in the door. I'm walking in because remember I said I worked at the Galleria. So come to find out, John Robert Powers was at the Galleria too. It was in the towers. So if you're familiar with Birmingham, Alabama, the Galleria in Hoover, actually, then you know that there's the towers you go up in the elevator and there's offices up there. So John Robert Powers was in there. So I could easily get off work from my retail job and head straight to up there if I needed to. And that's what I did that day. I had worked retail and then went upstairs, and I walk in and there's these people sitting in chairs waiting to be seen. And then the receptionist was like, can I help you? And I'm like, yes, my name's Tiffany Davis and I'm here to do choreography. I'm like, ready. I'm here to do choreography. First red flag is she was like, who? And I was like, Tiffany Davis here to do choreography. And she was like, she had to call someone in the back. And then she was like, well, just have a seat. They'll be with you in a minute. So I'm kind of already feeling like, yeah, I don't know I'm coming today. You told me to come today. Now here comes the owner or the manager. I'm sorry. She was the manager. She comes up from the back and says, yes, we're expecting you. The young man is back here. I won't say his name because he has nothing to do with this. So I go back there. The young man is there. We're in this room that's kind of like a studio, but it was carpet and there were chairs in there, but there was a big mirror and a bar. So let me go back because I'm skipping ahead. I hate when people do that in story times, but I'm doing it too. I'm skipping ahead. Here's another red flag. $90 for 3 minutes of choreography. Now, some of you may not know. Some of you might be like, oh, that's good. It's not. It's not. That's not even 1 minute worth of choreography. Okay? The rate was The rate was $90 for 3 minutes of choreography. I should have said no right then. But like I said, there was an eagerness with a desperate energy. And I was just like, yeah, I'll do it. I was young. I wasn't thinking. I was just starting out. So that's the first thing. I should have said no. I should have walked out when they didn't know I was coming. That was number 2. But we'll recap at the end. So I go back there. I teach the young man. We spend about 3 hours learning that 3 minutes. He gets it good. So I come back out there to the receptionist, and I'm like, okay, I'm done. And she's like, well, we need you to come back one more time to clean up the choreography and make sure everything is set. Okay, I'm okay with that. So the next week I come back, meet with him again. He's great. He's a very respectful young man. He gets the choreography, and I'm done. I've done my part. So, mind you, I did not have a contract. I did not make them sign a contract. At that point in my career, I didn't even have any contracts drafted. I was just going in just wide open, no paperwork. But in my defense, it was John Robert Powers, and I trusted them because I went there as a child. I knew they were national, like actually worldwide, international. They had schools everywhere. So I didn't think that I, number one, had the power to make them sign a contract, which we'll discuss that at the end. Number 2, I just didn't feel like I needed one. And number 3, I didn't have one anyway. So I go to the front. I'm thinking my part is done. So let me get paid. Y'all have a good competition. Call me if you need anybody else. So I go to the front to tell them I'm finished. The receptionist is there. And I'm like, well, I'm done with choreography. How do I get my check? So it was around the 15th of the month when I finished. So she told me, oh, we do payroll first of the month. I was like, that's fair enough. So she said, fill out this timesheet with how many hours you were here and the amount of money that you were agreed upon, or I guess you agreed upon to get paid. I did that. Filled out the timesheet, name, address, everything that they needed to run me my money. I did that. With the quickness, gave it to her, go about my day. That was the 15th. The 1st rolls around the next month. So she told me after, they do payroll on the 1st, so give it a few days, then they'll call me to come pick up my check. So the 1st is there. I'm like, okay, great. It's payday. I get my money. So I wait until like the 3rd, and I haven't heard anything. So I'm like, okay. 5th comes around. I'm kind of like, okay. Then we're getting to like the 7th. I'm like, okay, well, it's been a whole week, and I haven't heard a word. So I call. I'm like calling and calling and calling, and there is no answer. No one is answering the phone. It's not even going to a voicemail. It's just ringing and ringing and ringing and ringing. Like I stayed on the line and it just rang. So I was like, my heart's like, uh-oh, what's going on? Is everything okay? What's happening? So anyway, long story short, when it was the 10th, I said, okay, I'm going up there. Because I gave them too much time. Okay, there's lots of things to learn here. I gave them way too much time. So I get in the elevator after work. I go upstairs to the Galleria, to the towers. There's a receptionist sitting up there. I walk past her. She just waves me in. And I'm walking down the hallway where John Robert Powers was. And I'm like, this doesn't seem right. So I go to open the door. It's the middle of the day. I used to get off at like 2:00. So it's the middle of the day. Go to turn the lock or turn the door. It doesn't open. So it's like a double door. So you can see, there's like a little, how you can see between 2 doors sometimes? So I'm looking in between the slit and I'm like, why does it look empty in there? So I'm like knocking at this point. Turning the door, it's locked and the lights are out, but it's daytime, so I can see that through the windows that there's, you know what I mean? There's stuff. The stuff is gone. There's no chairs. There's no desk. There's nothing. I look at the wall where it said John Robert Powers before. The sign that was there looked like someone had ripped it off the wall. So I'm like, okay. So anyway, I'm like, what is happening? So I walk right back up to that receptionist that was at the Towers receptionist, Galleria Tower receptionist, and I'm like, what happened to John Robert Powers? Did they move to another floor? And she was like, oh, girl, she was like, we don't know. We came in last week and they had moved all their stuff out in the middle of the night. In the middle of the night, they had came and took all their stuff out. And apparently they were in trouble with the Towers because they leased that space and they just moved out in the middle of their lease. So they not only owed me money, but owed Galleria money. Like they just owed everybody money. So I'm like, I said, well, they owe me money. And she said, well, you're among this long list of people that they had contracted out all these people to do stuff and then just left. So she said, leave your name and number. When we find them, we'll add you, let you know where they are. So I'm hot at this point. I am like, and some people are like, it's just $90. It's more than that to me. This was meant more than that to me, So I'm angry at this point. So here I am on Google. I'm like Kermit the Frog, dear internet. I'm like trying to I end up finding a corporate email because they're franchised. So they all have separate owners. So I found like a corporate contact, emailed them and told them what happened. I finally received a response from a woman named Tiffany, and she's like, well, I'll give you the contact of the person that owned the Birmingham location. Here it is. You can contact her. So this woman lives in Florida. I'm not going to say her name. I was going to, but I won't say her name. I send her an email and say, hey, you guys are supposed to pay me, blah, blah, blah. And long story short, it was a very nasty exchange because she was so rude. She accused me of lying. She said I never worked for them. She said, where's your contract? I don't have any paperwork. Remember? Paperwork. How do I even know you did all this? It's, I was going to include you in the bankruptcy. Watch your tone, because at this point I was very polite at first, but she just kept saying little passive aggressive things. And I was just kind of like, I have a little bit of a nice, nasty clapback game a little bit. So I wasn't too rude. I'm still a professional. So anyway, I'm going to have to go, y'all, in a second. Long story short, she said that after me and her go back and forth about fairness and about all these things, and I filled out a timesheet, she said, well, I'll send you your little $90, is what she said. I'll send you your little $90 and just she got my address and said that she would send me a check. Did I ever see that check? No. Did I try to pursue it anymore after that? No. But I learned a lot from that situation. So what did we learn, class? We learned, number one, do not be desperate. Never be desperate. Eager is good. Excited is great. But when you're desperate, you make stupid decisions. It doesn't matter if you're just starting out. It doesn't matter if you've been working for years. It doesn't matter. None of that matters. Desperateness attracts that type of energy is going to come to you. Never be desperate. Be confident in who you are as an artist, and those gigs will come to you. Number two, always have contracts. Always have contracts. Always have a contract. Always have a contract. It doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter who it is. It could be your mama. It could be Microsoft. Always have contracts. I will not say it again, but I will say it again. Always have a contract. Get it in writing. Okay? Number three, don't take gigs that are way under market value just to get your name out there. Don't do stuff for free. Don't do market value things. None of that. Okay. Also, number 4, get paid up front. Get paid up front, friends. Either a deposit for your choreography and then you get the rest when you get there, or get it all up front. However it is that you work it out with your person that you're working with. But get some type of payment up front. The I'll send you an invoice thing is not for me. It could be for other choreographers, but it's not for me. You're expected to do all this work up front and you don't receive it. When you go to Walmart, do you tell them that you'll come back and pay them on the 1st, or do you pay for your groceries or your clothes or whatever you're getting from there, your light bulbs right then? So why do we as choreographers and artists think it's okay to get paid way after the fact? Okay, so get your money up front, or get something up front, a deposit. Okay, and do I have any more? I think that's all. I don't think I have any other lessons that we have learned. But since then, that experience, I'm grateful for it because it changed the whole way that I did business. I have my contracts. I have everything. But like I said, I was young. I was eager. It was going to be my first big choreography gig. So anyway, I love you guys. Thank you for watching. I hope this wasn't too boring, but I just want to, especially for people who are just starting out, I just want to help you guys so you don't make the same mistakes that I made. So anywho, I hope you guys have a great day. And I have another story of when I got scammed. It's happened again after this. So I'll be uploading that one soon. So I'll talk to you guys later.